never a flaw.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Juice Manji, aka Big Lechuga, also known as Julian Rodriguez, and this is the Pulse Air Max Day edition. Alright, so as we all know, today is Air Max Day. Really cool thing Nike did. I mean, obviously Nike being the hype machine that they are, and the genius marketers that they are, they've been doing this Air Max thing, pushing it for a while, and it was pretty dope. And it was especially dope for me because I was down at Undefeated LA, where I picked up my pair of the Air Max 1 Air Max Day edition, I guess if you want to call them that, which I will have a video on these upcoming. This is a really nice shoe. Really good materials, the best materials Nike's put on just a regular non-collab Air Max 1 in a minute. But anyway, I was down at Undefeated, and Undefeated was pretty much, I think, at least on the West Coast, the epicenter of Air Max Day. They had a huge, Nike they had a party with Tinker Hatfield there tonight, and I was there during the daytime to pick up my pair, and they're setting all this shit up. But the whole Undefeated store was you could only buy this shoe, the Jacquard Air Max 90 that came out today, and the Air Max 90 Infrared Ice. And pretty much the whole wall was the Air Max Day 1. And they just had a really dope display. They had a drone with a camera on it, like a RC helicopter drone thing, taking pictures of people, and they had a videographer and all this shit, and they had a cool truck, a cool like almost like a U-Haul, but with the sides cleared out and balloons in it saying "Wear Your Air," and they had the whole hype machine working, and it was cool to see. But yeah, you know, I think the Air Max Day is a very cool thing to me, because to me, the Air Max doesn't get enough credit for what Nike has become. And, you know, people think of Jordan first, I think, which is fine, but to me, the Air Max is every bit as important to Nike, and it's historical to Nike and the sneaker culture and history. It's just as significant as Jordan, because the Air has become synonymous with Nike. Air is to Nike as, you know, whatever is to Apple, iPad, iPhone, iPod, iTunes, everything. The Air is every bit as much a part of the branding and just the identity of the brand as whatever is with Mac. And those are the two companies, you know, Apple and Nike are the two, I think, probably the two greatest marketers we have in the world today, as far as just like being able to sell you hype. Nike fucking sold us Air for years, and we love it, and that just speaks to the brilliance of Nike. And while we're on the topic, while we're on kicks and Air Max Day, got a bunch of my favorite Air Maxes lined up behind me. Let's see. And also I'm announcing like this is fucking a press conference. I'm gonna do 2 more Air Max in honor of Air Max Day, because I'm such an Air Max fan. I'm gonna do 2 more Air Max related videos. One is an ID that I'm not gonna show you now, that you probably haven't seen before unless you follow me on Twitter. And the other will be a special video. I'm not going to give any more information on that, but it will be an Air Max video, so you'll get those later this week. But I made a video on this ID, the Homeless Man's Robot, inspired by Kid Robot and Cameron. If you haven't seen the video on these, go check it out. It's on my channel. You'll find it, Homeless Man's Robot Nike ID. Atmos Duck Camo 90s. The Truckus Pack Air Max 1. This is pretty slept on. Not a lot of people remember this shoe or cared about it, but Nike does not put leather like this really on anything anymore. I don't know if you can see, but it's a beautiful shoe. We got our Bacon Air Max, Dave's Quality Meats Bacon Air Max 90 Huarache current, and you know, if you know me, I love my Huarache and I love my Air Max, so this is an awesome hybrid shoe. And it's also got the current, you know, Air Max 90 current is an Air Max 90 with half of a free bottom, which is a very cool thing, an incredibly comfortable shoe when you factor in the Air Max 90 Hirachi technology along with free cushioning. Fuck yeah. What else I whip out to show you? Pause. Air Max 90. I could wear this shoe every day. I'm sorry, Air Max 97. Really classic shoe. I remember this shoe a lot from my dad's Foot Locker days because he loved these. My dad has a bad back, and he wore these with his orthotic, and it was just floating, and he couldn't shut up about it. And so that shoe is this shoe is especially nostalgic for me because like my dad loved it, and I thought it was dope too. So very nice one there. But enough about my favorite Air Maxes. You see them there. You've seen my videos that I've made so far of them. I'd like to know, what is your favorite all-time shoe in the Air Max series? And then what's your favorite colorways? Please let me know. What are you guys fucking with? What's your top Air Maxes? Sports. A lot of shit went down this week. The Chicago Bears signed Jared Allen today. That's a nice little signing, especially since they let Julius Peppers go. If you just go back off of last season, that's an upgrade over Peppers because Peppers kind of had a miserable season. But I don't think he's washed. But I do think that's an upgrade. I think Allen still has a lot left in the tank. So good for the Bears. Football, not much else. My man Mike Vick, Ron Mexico, signing with the Jets. That's gonna be pretty funny. Him and Gino duking that out. What other quarterback movement was there? Matt Schaub got traded to the Raiders. That's just like depressing all around. But the Raiders rebounded. They've had a decent offseason, and we'll see what happens with the Eagles and Deshaun Jackson. I think they'll end up keeping him. But who knows? But if he's about that paper, the Raiders got plenty of it. I'm really excited about baseball season. I'm a big Dodger fan. They're still in spring training, except the Dodgers played the Diamondbacks for 2 games and swept those 2 games. And now LA media is trying to drum up the whole Puig shit, which is stupid. It's just the media trying to sell page views and newspapers and all this. So I'm not really concerned about Puig. I'm just really excited for Dodger season to start. Hopefully our starting rotation can stay healthy. And yeah, man. And the National League got some. I'm still stressed. The Cardinals are still the team to beat in the NL until the Dodgers prove otherwise. Even though I think the Dodgers are a more talented roster, Dodgers got to get to the playoffs healthy. Not like last year where Hanley was hobbled and then the Cardinals they beamed him in the ribs in the first game of the series and he was never the same. And then Kemp wasn't even in the playoffs and Ethier was hobbled as well. So we'll see what happens. It's a long season and it hasn't even started yet. Really, it's kind of started, but looking forward to that. Now on to the hip-hop rap portion of the Pulse. I didn't really have anything specific to talk about. I wanted to kind of foster interaction with you guys on this. So I'm going to go over... I had a good conversation with the homie J Paint. I don't know if you guys check his channel out. If you don't, he does mostly discussion type stuff on like sneakers, and he's a big movie buff. Watches a shitload of movies and has really, really good insight on movies. But we're talking about hip hop and sharing like our tastes and whatnot, and just talking about other topics which I'm not going to get into. But one that came up was top 5 favorite albums of all time, and in no order. The 5 that I gave him were Ready to Die, 36 Chambers by WuTang Clan, Ready to Die by Notorious B.I.G. if you guys didn't know, Enter the 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang Clan, Aquemini by Outkast, Death Certificate by Ice Cube, and what was the fifth? It was another West Coast artist. Oh, and The Chronic, Dr. Dre. Those are my 5 favorite albums of all time. I'd like to hear you guys. Please let me know in the comments. And the beautiful thing about hip-hop is that you could ask me this question again in a week, and I'll give you 5 different ones. There's just too many. I've been alive too long, listening to rap too long. There's too many albums that I really, really love. My top... Any album in my top 18 to 20 could, enter and leave my top 5. That's the cool shit. That's what's so great, when you're connected to something. Like it's not just flat like this is this. It's not like formulaic. It's just it's how you feel. So I'd love to hear what you guys are into, what you guys have been, what you guys consider your 5 greatest or favorite or whatever. I don't give a shit how you want to frame it. Just, share with me. And then the other thing, hip hop related, is Barrington Levy from that Bad Boys record with that willy dilly whatever the fuck. That's my all-time favorite shit. Sometimes I'll just be, feeling good. Maybe if I cop something on Nike store in the morning, I'll just let out a wow, wow, willy dilly, willy dilly, willy dilly, dilly, willy dilly, dilly, oh, sing. If you learned everything you knew about Jamaican people from that Shine Bad Boys video, you'd really think all Jamaicans only spoke like willy dilly and loved like mesh tank tops and shooting fire would be like the top 3 cultural achievements of Jamaica. Willy dilly, shooting fire out of aerosol cans and mesh tank tops. What are you guys listening to? What are the albums that stuck with you? For me, WuTang Under 36 Chambers was like my first really immersed and awesome experience with East Coast. And I have roots. I'm from LA, but my father's from the East Coast. My father's from North Jersey, so all my family on my dad's side was there, so I'd go visit a lot. So I spent a lot of time there, and that's where I got introduced to WuTang. I was a young kid. I was like 10-year-old kid from LA, but I was all about WuTang because that's what I picked up when I was over on the East Coast. And then The Chronic was one that grew on me because I was so heavily into Wu-Tang when I came back, and what I was more into East Coast hip hop at the time when I was younger. So the thing about Chronic was it was like wine to me. I kind of didn't. It grew on me with age, and I didn't think that much of it. It sounded good, but I didn't think that much of it when it was in the moment, when I was like living it, when it was on the radio, when I was a kid growing up. I didn't at the time, and then I just grew to appreciate it as I got older. Death Certificate and Ice Cube in general. Ice Cube was one of the few West Coast artists that I loved from the start, because Ice Cube really was a lot more like Public Enemy. Ice Cube was basically West Coast Chuck D, but better. And so that's what, and a lot of you, some of you youngsters will not understand that Ice Cube, and this, I'm not the only person who feels this way, but if Ice Cube had gotten killed like Biggie and Pac after his like third album, he would have gone down as the GOAT. He would have been in that class of like, who's the greatest, Cube, Biggie, or Pac, or whatever. He would be in that discussion. But then, he went on to do like Are We There Yet? And all those shitty movies, and made some shitty albums, because it's hard to really summon your inner artist, and Ice Cube kind of was fueled by that anger. Anger made Ice Cube dope, and you can't really be that angry when you're getting paid off of Are We There Yet too. I believe I was in 8th grade when Aquemini dropped, and whew, that was just a beautiful piece, like just not just the music, not just sonically, but just like the way it was put together from beginning to end. It was a very cohesive project, which all of the albums that I'm naming are, because I think, and if you notice, they're all from a certain time, and I'm not like, I think a lot of great rap came out in the late 90s, early 2000s as well, but back then you didn't have what you have now, where the internet basically leads to people exchanging verses and having so many hands in the pot, and so many different producers and so many different artists working on a record. Back then you had the same people sitting in one room actually making music together, which, not to discredit artists of today. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to speak to the disadvantages that they face now. Just the way the world is. A lot of labels just don't have the patience for that. And in the hot thing now is you got to have this producer, that producer. You know, you gotta have tracks from all these different producers. You gotta have all these different features. So just the way that the industry and the market has dictated how rap music is made is very different than it was 20 years ago. You know, and that's all there is to it. It's not that I think that the artists are any less capable. I think it's just that the climate has changed and the environment has changed, so it's harder. They can't. You're not gonna have the patience from fans or labels to do things the way they were done before, and the budgets don't exist. People don't realize it was a regular thing in the late 90s, early 2000s for a rap video to have $1 million budget, which is, and not even like, I'm not even talking like the biggest, like, I'm talking about a pretty big rappers, but rap is bigger than it was now than it was then, but the budgets are way smaller. You know, Puffy was making like $5 million videos. There's no market for that now. We watch videos on YouTube. That's where you watch rap. MTV doesn't even show videos. So, you know, the game has changed quite a bit. But yeah, it's cool to look back on it and reflect on those albums that we liked so much, and I can't wait to hear what you guys like. I didn't get a chance. I'll talk about it next week. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to that YG album. I skimmed through it real quick. I don't see what all the fuss is about. People seem to really like it, but I'll give it a more thorough listen and get back to you. I want to like it, given that he's from LA. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Air Max Day to you all. I hope you all enjoyed it. Also share what you copped with me. If you copped anything, or let me know what your favorite all-time Air Max is. I really look forward to hearing what you guys think. And thank you guys so much for watching. Catch y'all next week on The Pulse.